Hello. Hope you're going well. Right, we had some action yesterday. A few things looked okay, played out okay, but a lot of, as I expected, I warned about the yen news, and it made a massive reaction that turned out to be nothing. That's the way it goes. It's just volatility. There's a few things to look at today, so we're going to go into those. A few talking points as well. I'll try and cover those as well as we go through. Some things look nice, but aren't so nice. Always things to look out for. Okay, so we'll start with this here. We'll get that out of the way. We'll start with Aussie Swiss. Right. So we've had rejection of this support resistance line, and it's bombed straight down to the daily 50. So massive bearish day usually implies the follow through the following day. Looking for bearish day today, but we've got the daily 50 there. So although this looks quite nice for a CBO, lines up pretty well. We've got the fibs from this high here, which is where it broke through the 4-hour 50 cleanly after the second time, I guess. And lines out the 1-hour 50 catching up in a few hours' time. The 4-hour 50 not far behind it, but we don't want to push it past the daily 50 anyway. So we can't go past that. So that gives us 1.5%. But we've already had it's really reached the daily 50. That's a big warning sign. Yes, it looks like it could be okay, but we could also say this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We may have completed wave 5. So I will not be interested in that one. But on the second G, or probably not at all. So that looks kind of good. Fibs line up nicely. It may happen anyway because some people, it might pull back and traders jump on it and it plays out, but not a high percentage. I wouldn't risk on that one. Right, so Aussie Kiwi. Right, again, a bearish day. So Aussie's struggling yesterday. Lots of bearish action on the Aussie. It's gone through the daily 50 and the daily 20, burst straight through that, looking like it might continue short today. On the hourly chart, we have a strong break from the 1-hour 50 break and retest here, and then we had a straight through the 4-hour 50, and here we are passes to the daily 50 and daily 20. Now, so the fibs, we do have the pivot here, so you can always take this as a pip snatcher, and maybe even a hybrid trade, because there's lots of room down to these lows. So pip snatcher or hybrid trade is a possibility where you have your entry around the pivot. Of course, you want this 1-hour 50 to catch up first. So it's not Aussie Kiwi, yeah, it can happen any time of day, so we just don't know. So 1-to-1 read out here somewhere. And let's get rid of this one for the sake of it. It's a quick 1-to-1. That looks pretty good. The daily 50 and daily 20 acting as resistance as well for a trade before I stop. Or you could trade that as a hybrid trade. So that looks good either way, but the 1-hour 50 needs to catch up. So that's going to have to take its time. So to see on that one, if it does pull back quickly, then this fib's in play. And we're then looking at this trade here. How you class a CBO? The 450 is before the 618, so you might want to trim the stop loss a little bit. Class it as a CBO. If you want to be safe, you put it behind the 75. So that needs to pull back pretty soon, and it needs to break through the daily 50, daily 20 just briefly to give us an entry, and then play it short. And then maybe the 618 will be the obvious profit target because we've already had a wave 1, 2, maybe a big wave 3, wave 4 pullback. This could be a wave 5. Lots of things could happen here, so keep an eye on it, see what it looks like. It might be playing out as the day progresses. Okay. Aussie Kiwi, Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar. Right, great respect of this line here. Finally, we get a high test and a bearish candle. That would have taken out stops of anybody entering a short trade in the last 3 days, probably. Anyone entered a swing short, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. So now it's giving us a good short candle. Right, we have a trend line rejected again. Finally, a massive breakdown on the dollar news. It seems to affect the Aussie as well. Broken the 1 hour 50, down to the 4 hour 50, pulling back, does pull back now towards the 1 hour 50. The 382 is just behind it, not too bad. That'll be an IBOC because we have already reached the 4 hour 50, and we'll be trading through that down to the daily 20. Or you can push it further down to daily 50. So there's good potential in that one. It pulls back soon, otherwise the 1 hour 50 will be trending downwards. But a quick wick through the 382 to make the IBO set up correctly, and then enter on the break of the 1 hour 50, and that could be a nice option. We'll see how that one plays out. CAD Swiss. Right, we rejected this level here. It's been a nice, would have been a nice swing trade short at this point with that little doji candle. Spread out perfectly. Really big bearish day yesterday. So looking for that to continue. Note that we are actually at the lows, just gone through the lows, just passed through them. These recent lows. So maybe there's going to be some kind of support here, which is why maybe that's why we're getting some kind of rejection now. We're going to move a pullback. And pip snatcher might be a good option here, or you could again do a hybrid trade if you want to push it through these lows, and then there's really free space below it, so there could be a long way to go below it. But it's definitely got good momentum. Look at this, the MACD, really nice. This is what I put in there yesterday, just as a matter of interest. Pull back to 382 and the 1 hour 50 just here. Perfect entry, and played out 2%. And of course, you could have pushed that a lot further. Made that a very nice trade, but that's gone now. So now we're looking for a pip snatcher. If that pulls back, if the 1 hour 50 catches up to the pivot in the next 6 to 8 hours, that'd be nice. Could line up very nicely. And again, pip snatcher or hybrid trade, good options there. Okay, CAD yen. Now with these yens, we've got some amazing candles. That's what you call a high test. So high tested the day 20, and then back down. That's a bearish looking high test. Looks very bearish for today. But what we want to see is an entry. So we need this to pull back to 382 on the fib. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got much choice. We've got no choice on the fib. It has to come from these highs to give us a nice entry. We have to pull back further. Then it's about here somewhere, then pull back, and by then the 1 hour 50 is going down, so it might be right down here somewhere. And then you've already reached the R1 of the daily pivots, which is not ideal, because then we're going to pull all the way back up here and all the way down again. So it doesn't look very nice. If it does pull back now, then you're going to pass through the 1 hour 50 to reject the 382 and daily pivot. So yeah, the yens, although it's a really nice looking daily candle, it's just not looking good for a setup for us with our strategies. So that, you'll find that on this yen. It's on the other yen pairs as well, so I'm not going to go through them all because it's all the same reason. Now this one is slightly different in that it's quite a bullish. Well, there's a high test, It's quite a bullish candle, as in it's very green. The close was way above the open, so that's not looking quite so bad. Not quite so much of a high test candle. So what do we have here? We've rejected that, so maybe we'll get a wave 5. The fibs line up here for it to pull back up to make a wave 5. But again, it doesn't look very good. We've already had that high test. Sometimes you get tweeze the tops where you get 2 high tests in a row, but it's spiking down there anyway. So anyway, not looking good. Stay away from the EM pairs, I think, for today. So they settle down. EuroCAD. Right, EuroCAD, we've been tackling this level here. We've got a nice bullish candle. Now, I think this one has a, yeah, it's got a MACD divergence on the daily. We pull that up. You can see that this high is a much lower on the MACD. It's lost all its momentum. So that's not looking good, but we do have a very bullish candle yesterday. Let's see how that looks on the daily chart. Maybe we'll get some follow through. Because this MACD, so if this does burst out higher, then this MACD may sort of repair itself and give us a higher high. So we'll see what happens there. But on the hourly chart, we do have a pullback to the daily 20. Actually, this line here still in play, this trend line. Yeah, not really. Okay. So we have broken clearly above the hourly 50. If we look at the MACD, we've got a really bullish MACD here, much higher than this high. So that's suggesting that it's recharged as it went down below the 0 line here, and now it's bursting full of energy again. So maybe we'll get some more action to the upside, and the most likely thing here is a pip snatcher. You could also trade the ACBV, IBO, but with the 4-hour 50 behind us. But with that, we don't have a very nice ACB. It doesn't really matter. We could still potentially trade ACB, but it's very similar to the, it's pretty much exactly the same as the pip snatcher, in that we have the entry about the same place and the stop about the same place. So you can take this as a pip snatcher, or if you really feel this has got the momentum to continue, go for hyper trade. The hyper trade, we're talking about, it's coming up. Okay, so stop, we'll put it, it's at 630, 1260, 1260, 2520. Can't do my maths in my head. So I guess it's 4 to 1. No reason why that can't play out. Let's copy from here, stick it on the daily and see if that looks reasonable. Paste it in there, get rid of that. There we go. So that doesn't look too unreasonable. There's no reason why that couldn't continue higher. So you could even play this as a hyper trade. It's quite nice. Okay. So the reason I widened it on the hourly chart is otherwise you put it on the daily chart and it's too thin, you can't see it. That's why I did that. Okay, PoundCAD. Let's get this finished off. There's just a couple more to go. PoundCAD looking similar to EuroCAD. Bullish, very bullish day yesterday. Breaking away from this trend line, which is nice. This trend line held, and heading up towards these highs. This would be a similar kind of looking pip snatcher, but I wouldn't do this as a hyper trade because we do have the recent highs. You don't want to trade through those. So if the one equity catches that nicely, then it could be a nice little pip snatcher long. The other one I want to look at is euro dollar. Not seeing up right this second, but it's a very nice looking setup. So we've been rejecting this resistance level for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, or 4 days if you like, maybe 5. Now looking like we're going to go short. Not a huge amount of room to the downside, but we can play it down to the daily 50. Do we have a MACD? We have a MACD here as well. Look at the MACD for these highs here. We can see we're going along and then we're trending down. So We do have a very strong MACD divergence there, suggesting we are going to go lower. Look on the hourly chart, what do we see? Not looking very nice, very unstructured, very sideways. The only thing we can really do is wait for a break of the 4-hour 50, and when it comes back and we test it, we can enter a CBO short, and we can trade down to this kind of resistance level here. We might even want to be bold and take it down to 30.50. So it could be a nice looking option there. Right, good. That is it. So there's a few things to look out for. What happened there? The end's not looking too great. There's a camera coming back. Let's do a bank screen. Right. So yeah, there's quite a few things to look at. Keep an eye on that. There's my watch list. A few of them I demoted, just wanted some talking points. But there's a couple of things there which may play out nicely. We'll see how we go. Thursday today. Aussie news in 20 minutes. A bit more news around. Keep an eye out for the news. And I wish you all the best in the charts. If you're not a member of ProTrader, scottprotrader.com. 3 hours of free video training and opportunity to come and join us at ProTrader and learn this marvelous skill. I will speak to you tomorrow. Take care. I will see you then. Good luck in the markets.